is aliphatic or aromatic, saturated or unsaturated, what are the elements present in, then identify the functional group present in it, and confirmation you should prepare the derivative. So you have to report all this 5, and we were doing it when the systematic analysis comes, you have to first test for aliphatic or aromatic, then Lessines test is there for detection of elements, then preliminary reactions is there, then test for functional groups you have to do, and if during the detection of the element nitrogen is present means you have to go for compounds containing nitrogen. Lessines test, what was Lessines test is, you have to take a dry ignition to put inside a dried small piece of sodium, slowly heat it so that the sodium melt, then add substance into it, again gently heat first so that the reaction between the sodium and substance takes place. After that heat it till the ignition tube becomes red, then take in a china dish water, plunge the tube into it, boil the content for 10 minutes, filter the solution. The filtrate is known as sodium fusion extract. We have to take that extract and do the test for nitrogen. What we have to do is, to a small quantity of the extract, add 1 ml of freshly prepared ferrous sulfate, heat to boil, cool, add 2 drops of ferric chloride. If you get a green or blue color like this, you can say nitrogen is present. Then you have to go for sulfur. Take little extract, add 3 or 4 drops of freshly prepared sodium nitroprusside. You should get a violet color if it is there, sulfur is present. Okay, so till the last class we have done substances without nitrogen. We have seen acid, aldehyde, ester, phenol, etc. Now today we are going to the test for compounds containing nitrogen. So when we do the Lessines test, you should either get blue or green color, and there can be sometimes nitrogen containing compound contains sulfur also, so it can answer sulfur also. So think that you got till nitrogen present. Now what is the next one is, you should go for the preliminary reaction. You should know what should be the color. Yellow color irnal it is nitro compound, if not means it can be other compounds. Then physical state, liquid irnal you can say that it doesn't contain carbohydrate. Solid irnal you can say it's not an ester. Then solubility in water, action of sodium bicarbonate, action of soda lime, action of sulfuric acid. Test till this 6 you have to do the preliminary test. This is must whether you have nitrogen or not. Then 7th one is saturation or unsaturation. Bromine water matter treat panna, so you decolorization irunale it is unsaturation. So this 7 test is actually common for both nitrogen containing and non-nitrogen containing compound. Now till this you finish. Next what you have to do is, you don't have to do the test for functional group, that is test for aldehyde and ketone, acid, ester, carbohydrate, phenols, etc. We'll go to test for nitrogen containing compound. Here first one is amine. What are amines? Amines are derivatives of ammonia, you can say. What is ammonia? NH3. When one of the hydrogen is substituted by an alkyl or aryl group, we call it as primary amine. When 2 nitrogen atom is substituted by an alkyl group or aryl group, we call it as secondary amine. And when all the 3 nitrogen atoms are substituted by an alkyl group or aryl group, we call tertiary amine. So ammonia 3 hydrogen, depending upon how it is substituted, you can have primary, secondary and tertiary amine. So when we go for the test, we have separate tests for primary, secondary and tertiary. We can identify whether the given compound is primary or secondary or tertiary. First is carbylamine test. This is for primary amine, that is RNH2 group. Okay, what you have to do is to a little of the substance, 2 ml of alcoholic KOH and few drops of chloroform is added and heated. The test tube you have to take the substance. Alcoholic KOH means take little potassium hydroxide, add to it little methanol or ethanol. Okay, so that will become alcoholic solution. And then 2 ml you take and add to this test tube. Then chloroform CHCl3 chloroform you should add. Heat பண்ணும்போது what you can see is that smell of carbylamine smell வரும். So that shows that primary amine is present. Okay, so what is the reaction is, this is aniline primary amine, chloroform KOH presence react பண்ணும்போது NH2 group will be converted to nitrile group. So carbylamines is formed. அதுக்கு வந்து it has a foul smell, so that is why we get the carbylamine smell. Okay, normally we won't do this in the lab, but you have to write in your book. Okay, next, this is the important one. We do it for the amine test. First one, nitrogen present ஆയിരിக்கணும். Second way for this, இது வந்து diazotization and you have to do the dye test. Dissolve a little of the substance in 1:1 HCl and cool it. The test tube you take 1 ml of HCl, another test tube take same amount of water. இது ரெண்டோட mix பண்ணிட்டு you make shake well, so you will get 1:1 HCl. That you take in a vessel, keep it in the ice, keep this one inside it. Okay, in another test tube you take little water, to that add sodium nitrate till you get a saturated solution. Saturated solution means clear solution plus some substance. Now this one you add to the substance in 1:1 HCl solution. Okay, then slow add to shake பண்ணட். Be careful, your temperature should be maintained in the very cool condition. This it should be in the ice itself. During the reaction heat will be produced, so you have to heat it, maintain the temperature. Then once this is done, you have to add few drops of alkaline beta naphthol. Beta naphthol will be there. Take little beta naphthol, add NaOH solution to it, shake well, so you get alkaline beta naphthol. So you have to prepare what all are the things. 1:1 HCl solution, the test tube, 2 test tube at the equal amount of water and concentrated HCl at the mix panna, shake panna. That is 1:1 HCl. Sodium nitrate saturated solution, little amount of water நிறைய sodium nitrate add பண்ணி you have to do it. Then NaOH beta naphthol add பண்ணி alkaline solution. 1:1 HCl first substance add பண்ணிட்டு keep it in an ice bath. To that add saturated solution of sodium nitrate, maintaining the temperature very cool, shake well. Then you have to add alkaline beta naphthol to this. Appa you will get a red dye like this. If it is there means you can say that it is primary amine. And what is the reaction is, when you mix sodium nitrate and HCl, nitrous acid is produced inside the reaction. So this nitrous acid will react with amine. First diazotization will happen and benzene diazonium salt will be formed. This will react with beta naphthol to give a compound adduct, that is a dye that will have the red color. Okay, so this is what happening. Primary amine, the nitrous acid formed in the reaction mixture react பண்ணி diazotized salt form ஆகும். அது beta naphtholomite react பண்ணி you will get a dye. This is for the primary, அது form பண்ண primary amine. Secondary amine, what you have to do is இதே மாதிரி 1:1 HCl diazotization you have to do. 1:1 HCl substance add பண்ணி cool பண்ணி saturated sodium nitrate solution you have to add cool condition. அப்போ வந்து you get an oily yellow color solution. instead of the precipitate you will get this color. Then it is secondary amine. In confirm pannunena, what you have to do is you should add sulfuric acid and a crystal of sodium nitrate. Then a drop of phenol. Heater idilutu you have to add sulfuric acid, sodium nitrate 1 crystal or a drop of phenol. Heat for a minute. Pour into a beaker containing NaOH solution. Either you get a bluish green color solution, then you can confirm that it is secondary amine. So here what is happening is nitrosamine is formed. Okay, so what you have to do is beat alkaline naphthol add pannunadinu munne vanna you should get an oily liquid up, that is secondary one. In a third one, tertiary amine. Dissolve a little of the substance in 1:1 HCl, cool in the ice, then add a cold saturated solution of sodium nitrate slowly with shaking, maintaining the cool temperature. First step, it is common for all the things. Okay, appadi பண்ணும்போது if you get a brown or orange precipitate, it is tertiary amine. அது கன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணால் you have to add NaOH to it. அதில் NaOH ஆட் பண்ணும்போது இது வந்து it will be converted to green precipitate. So primary amine, secondary and tertiary எப்படி differentiate பண்ணாச்சு? First you have to add in 1:1 HCl, add and sodium nitrate carefully, green color precipitate form ஆகும். Alkaline beta naphthol add பண்ணும்போதும் you will get a dye, primary amine. Oily liquid, yellow oily liquid vanna it is secondary amine. If it is a dye which turns green on addition of NaOH means it is tertiary amine.
Tests for amines. Amines are derivatives of ammonia in which one or more hydrogen atoms are replaced by alkyl or aryl groups. When one of these three hydrogen atoms is replaced by alkyl or aryl group, primary amine is formed. When two of the three hydrogen atoms are replaced by alkyl or aryl group, secondary amine is formed. When all the three hydrogen atoms are replaced by alkyl or aryl substituents, tertiary amine is formed. Nicotine present in tobacco leaves and caffeine present in seeds of coffee plants are amine-containing compounds. Our aim here is to identify amines using some simple tests. They are solubility test, litmus test, azo dye test, nitrous acid test, Hinsberg test.
We'll be doing
solubility test.
In this.
Materials required. Compound using a dropper. Put 1 or 2 drops of the compound onto the moist red litmus paper. Amine, distilled water, dilute hydrochloric acid, dilute sodium hydroxide, ice cold water, test tubes and droppers. Procedure. Take small quantities of organic compound, sodium nitrite and beta naphthol in test tubes A, B and C respectively. Using a dropper, add a small quantity of dilute hydrochloric acid to test tube A. Shake the test tube well to dissolve the compound in hydrochloric acid. Now, add a small quantity of distilled water to test tube B. Shake the test tube well to dissolve sodium nitrite in distilled water to get sodium nitrite solution. Using another dropper, add a small quantity of dilute sodium hydroxide solution to test tube C. Shake the test tube well to dissolve beta naphthol in dilute sodium hydroxide solution. Cool the test tubes in a beaker containing ice cold water for some time. Now, add sodium nitrite solution to the organic compound. Primary amine on reaction with nitrous acid formed from sodium nitrite and hydrochloric acid gives diazonium salt. Then, add the resulting solution to test tube C containing beta naphthol solution. The diazonium salt undergoes coupling reaction with beta-naphthol to form a scarlet red colored compound called azo-dye. Nitrous acid test. Materials required: primary, secondary and tertiary amines, sodium nitrite, distilled water, concentrated hydrochloric acid, ice cold water, test tubes, droppers and spatula. Procedure: take small quantities of primary, secondary and tertiary amines in test tubes A, B and C respectively. Using a spatula, take a small quantity of sodium nitrite in a test tube. To this, add a small quantity of distilled water. Shake the test tube well to dissolve sodium nitrite in distilled water to get sodium nitrite solution. Cool the solution in ice-cold water for some time. Now, using a dropper, add a small quantity of concentrated hydrochloric acid to test tubes A, B and C. Shake the test tubes well to dissolve the compounds in concentrated hydrochloric acid. Cool the test tubes in ice-cold water for some time. Now, add sodium nitrite solution to test tubes A, B and C. In test tube A, primary aliphatic amine reacts with nitrous acid formed from sodium nitrite and hydrochloric acid to produce nitrogen gas, which is seen as bubbles. In test tube B, secondary amine reacts with nitrous acid to form a yellow oily layer of nitrosamine. In test tube C, tertiary amine reacts with nitrous acid to form soluble nitrite salts. Hinsberg test.